a 4x4 adventure is the very best thing that you can do with an international corporate group visiting Scotland. We've created a wonderful guided tour of the incredible Loch Lomond landscape, where your guests have the opportunity to get behind the wheel in a classic, iconic Land Rover Defender under the expert instruction of our adventure guides, with our cultural surprises along the way. Our kilted adventure guides are what makes our 4x4 adventures really, really special. This land here has been in the same family for 33 generations. Let that sink in. The adventure guides tell your guests all about the history and what it's like to live and work in this part of Scotland. They'll feel like they have an old friend showing them around. Typically we do a half-day off-road driving adventure where your guests have the opportunity to drive in two locations. The first is overlooking Loch Lomond's Islands, and then the second is in the really mountainous area of the estate overlooking Loch Long and the mountain known as the Cobbler. We love to have hilltop coffees and our enhancements along the way, like a surprise bagpiper. Sometimes we even have our clan warriors jump out and give the guests a fright and teach them about the ancient ways of the clans. We have a fleet of 10 immaculately presented, cherished classic Land Rover Defenders, and we have access to a further 10, giving us 20 vehicles. They're becoming very rare here, and having the opportunity to drive one of these off-road is a real novelty. Many of them are 7-seaters, a few of them are 5-seaters, but we only ever operate with a maximum of 4 guests plus our adventure guide in the vehicle. That means it's lovely and spacious. Each guest has the opportunity to drive and get a good amount of time behind the wheel. Most of our guests coming from other parts of the world sit on the other side of the car, so that's a challenge in itself. Many of them are used to only driving an automatic, and it's a very, very manual, engaging driving experience, but that is very, very much part of the fun. There are 6 gears for driving at road speed, and then there's a low-range gearbox for driving off-road, and then there's a diff lock for giving you better traction. Under instruction, the guests have to have a basic level of English for safety. In a group where there's a bit of a language barrier and not all the guests have English, we always recommend splitting up the English speakers so there is at least someone with good English in every car. Our events are slick and flowing. No one's ever left waiting around. Everyone knows what's happening. We consider all the small details. The adventure guides have 2-way radios so that all of the vehicles in convoy are in communication. That works brilliantly for us on an operational basis so that we can move the convoy along. But inevitably with incentive groups, when they all know each other and they're used to having a bit of good banter, some of the guests will be on the radios and making fun of each other from car to car, and we're all about having good fun. The very best enhancement that you can make to your 4x4 adventure is our hilltop barbecue under vintage canvas overlooking Loch Lomond's Islands. We have it set beautifully to rustic fine dining. They'll then enjoy a wonderful barbecue of local fresh produce sitting there looking out across Loch Lomond's Islands.